What's going on? It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. We back with the Boxing Clinic and more. Speaking on a fight that sounds like it's coming full circle and almost done. Terry Flanagan taking on Maurice Hooker for the vacant WBO Jr Welterweight title that was vacated by Terrence Crawford when he became undisputed and dropped all the belts and moved up to 147 pounds. Terry Flanagan is from the UK. Supposed to be going out April 14th. That's the tentative date in the UK. How did both of these guys get the shot? Let's start off here. Terry Flanagan was a champion at 135 when the Verdejo fight fell apart. I guess he was frustrated with not getting a big fight. So he moved up to, junior welterweight. And by the WBO rules, if you were a champion at one weight class, you automatically become the mandatory. Maurice Hooker was the mandatory, was already moving up the ranks and became a mandatory as well. So they're going to clash. Maurice Hooker is undefeated. I think he only lost. He had 3 draws though. Versus a guy that Anthony Corella from the UK drew with, then came around and knocked out. He had a draw in his first fight, and then versus Dylan Perez, who'd been knocked out 2 times. So there is some cause for concern for him. He lives in Dallas, Texas right now, so Dallas stand up. And Flanagan is from the UK. I mean, he's undefeated, 20-something-0, I believe, like 11 or 12 knockouts. So, Hooker going over to the UK. If you haven't seen Hooker fight, I'm going to leave a link in the description to a full Maurice Hooker fight. He's one of those tall guys that don't really, use his height. I think that's his issue. He likes to fall in and give up his height. He got some of that Paul Williams syndrome. And he'd be much better served if he used his height and put that jab on somebody, especially in this fight. Flanagan isn't that good. He's an okay fighter at best. But Maurice Hooker has struggled with other okay fighters before. It looks like by their record, he hasn't had a cakewalk as a professional. I will say that. He has some good fighters with good records on his resume. Terrence Crawford dubbed him to be next up. They worked together. Did some sparring together. I seen them spar beforehand. Looks a little bit different in sparring when I seen him. The fight, and I'm going to link in the description. And so get that channel subscribed. I mean, the commentary was good to me. It wasn't the most highest budget, but it was pretty good, man. And I look forward to them dropping some more videos and some more local fights down there. I think it's B&B Boxing or something like that. But make sure you subscribe to that channel. But, he's a guy that give up his height. He's an offensive guy. He got 16 knockouts. I mean, with 20-something fights. So, it don't seem like he's a monstrous puncher, He loves to come over with that overhand right and come over the top of his opponents, because most of his opponents are shorter than him. He's 5'11", Maurice Hooker, by the way. And, he's a good athlete, though. But it seems like he got a long way to go. And, this is the perfect championship fight for him. It may be too soon for him to go to the UK, but he should be thinking about knockout. This is the one time he's going to need to bring that aggressive nature. I would love to see him start boxing and sticking behind his power, sticking behind his speed, and keeping, Flanagan at the edge of his punches early on, then stepping up and knocking him out, that way. He needs to learn how to be disciplined on the outside. He's a tall guy, 5'11" at 140. Stick behind your power and your speed. He got a lot of speed, a lot of power, good footwork. Just stick behind that. Control distance, man. The man come in here, cut, he tries to jump in, make him pay, hold, spin out, do it again. And then when he gets frustrated, start making mistakes and try to jump in all reckless. You keep doing what you're doing. And then at the end of the fight, you press and then you use that Paul Williams mentality and get him up out of there. It's funny to see the approach Flanagan takes to try to chop this tree down. He ain't the worst fighter I've ever seen. He's pretty good, though. I ain't going to say he's like the best or the greatest. I thought it was a perfect fight for Felix Verdejo until he got injured to, put hands on Terry Flanagan and finally arrive, especially with Abel Sanchez being Verdejo's new trainer. But, Flanagan does have some ability. He got a little bit of speed. He ain't the biggest puncher. But the fight will be going back. It will be in his hometown, so he will have somewhat of a home field advantage. He's fought in front of the crowd like that before, and Hooker hasn't. So Hooker's going to have to keep his composure. What goes when you go to somebody else's country, especially in the UK, it's a lot of fishy things that go down. Let me say this, a lot of fishy things when UK fighters come to America usually go down, in the past. So, It works both ways. But he got to keep his composure. I mean, Flanagan gonna be ready. He is a savvy vet. He's fought the better competition, in my opinion. And I'd be interested to see how he gonna cut that ring down. How he gonna chop this tree down and cut the ring down on Hooker. Well, he ain't gonna need to cut the ring down because Hooker gonna come straight to him. It's gonna be interesting. See if he can test the young guy. And I think a lot of body work should be on display for Flanagan. And long story short, this is the fight that you're gonna want to tune into. I don't know if a network gonna pick it up, but it's a fight you're gonna want to tune into. This is gonna be a good fight. Hooker's a good athlete that needs to develop some more boxing skills, and this is the perfect opponent for him to step up and get a belt against. So let's see what he does versus Terry Flanagan. This could be Terry Flanagan's little coming out party. If we get some American viewerships from Maurice Hooker, but it's for the WBO belt. Let me know what y'all think. We gone.